Okay, so when I first started this project, I didn't really have any idea what I was doing. iMovie really isn't that hard. I started kind of just playing around with it and throwing kind of this title slide in. I didn't know what I was going to call it at the time, but I just started writing kind of anything down on these title slides and trying to figure out, what transitions looked good here for the beginning and, background slides and how would you put music behind this. So I really first just kind of started playing around with just kind of throwing stuff from up here, um, this music section or pictures and title slides and just kind of clicking around here and seeing what all these little buttons were. Um, it wasn't really that difficult at first, but then when I really wanted to start, putting in my video clips and stuff like that, I realized that I needed probably a little bit more help. So I went on lynda.com and started watching some of those videos, and they have a really good tutorial of a guy kind of screencasting his making of a video with like a surfer kind of clip thing, and so he really walks you through the entire process of how to like get these clips even on to iMovie because you have to import them from your iPhoto. So um, throughout the whole thing, it was really helpful. I kind of just like watching Lynda and then kind of pausing it after I saw something that like would be useful, and then went over to iMovie and started doing that portion of the remediation onto my project. So um, after I got everything kind of imported, I started playing around with different transitions and kind of found that I really liked the idea of starting with body image and then using this transition right here that to go to the interviews, and then between interviews doing sort of this cube spin. So between all interviews, I did this cube spin right there. So it kind of looked like it flowed together nicely and like it was supposed to be kind of like you're spinning this cube to get a new side of the story each time. So that's what I did there. And then if you keep moving, the first section is body image, and the way that I started it back here is what is body image, and then these interviews all talk about the answer to that question. And then I moved on to the actual definition from Webster, and then transitioned to this is a fact from the survey that I did for the repurposing. So all of these stats come straight from the results I found in my survey, which is noted kind of at the beginning of this video that that's where these stats come from. And then again, I did this kind of transition where we moved to the interviews, and then all of these interviews also use the cube kind of new perspective transition. I wanted to keep it really uniform and clean so that everything kind of looked like it went together. And then after that, these interviews all where you're on the diag came from an event that I had on a Saturday. And I kind of just asked passerbys, how do you feel about body image? How do you feel about the way society feels about body image? And asked them a couple questions, such as this question that came up right here. What percentage of women have the natural body size / type of a supermodel? And then I did again this transition here to people's responses, which surprisingly were kind of low. I had a lot of people say, like 1% or 0%, or, I don't think anybody has that body type naturally. And then after those, well, actually, going back to these, I didn't put any transitions, as you can see, between these. I did that kind of based off something that I had seen in like an example video. I was just getting, very short. You can see this one's like 1.3 seconds, this one's 2 seconds, 3.2 seconds, very short little clips of people's responses to that question. And it kind of gave me sort of like quick transitions between each of them. And I think that really works for this section to not have any transitions. it looks really nice. And then I went to the answer here and also didn't do a transition between those. And I kept with that. No transitions here. Just for this section, really. And then here I did a voiceover and like what he's saying here kind of stops and it's a freeze frame. And then I voice over the freeze frame and then it repeats itself right here. This ending piece repeats right here. So I did that kind of to emphasize this point that he was making in his interview. And then I decided to move on. These are the chalk drawings that I did at that DIAG event. The purpose was really to show that everybody is a different size, which didn't exactly work out in the winter when everybody was wearing coats and kind of just looks like everyone's flapping their arms around. So, but in theory, it was a good time, and I'm glad that I did that event. Anyways, and got those perspectives for the video. And then I decided to move into the pop culture aspect in songs, and used Wiz Khalifa and The Weeknd's song, Remember You, which is pretty popular on the radio right now. And then this is just a clip that I got from that music video. And I decided to include the lyrics in captions kind of right here, because I think the words are really important to the purpose of what I'm trying to say about how pop culture is affecting body image and sexuality. Kind of that, the people talking in the song, the men talking in the song, are kind of using these women as sexual objects. So that's why I decided to include the words so you could really get exactly what they're saying. And then kind of just noted, that's what's confusing these real meanings behind body image and sexuality. So the first section was body image, and then I used the pop culture music aspect to transition to sexuality, the sexuality section. So then I did this transition again, flowing from one topic to the next. And these interviews were all about the pop culture kind of aspect, transitioning into sexuality and what pop culture is doing to women's perceptions of sexuality, and how they view their own sexuality. So this was a really good way to move into the question of what is sexuality, which I wanted to frame this sexuality section kind of mirrored to how I framed the body image section. So you'll see that this slide says what is sexuality. Back at the beginning, if you remember, it said what is body image, and then there were interviews answering that question, and then again we have this transition, and then these interviews talking about what is sexuality, with the cube spinning again, kind of representing, getting all aspects of the story, all sides of the story, I guess. And then again I put the Webster definition and one fact from the study that I did for my repurposing. So this is the first half of that statistic, and this is the second half of that statistic. I decided to break these two up. I initially had them on one slide, and I decided it was too much text for one side for someone to read so fast, so it's the same amount of time, just kind of broken up, because I thought that made it a lot easier to read and kind of a little bit more, startling that you see this as 51% and you're kind of like, oh, okay, that's not such a big deal. And then you skip to this slide, this is 99.4%. And you kind of get that huge contrast between women believing it's socially acceptable for women to express that they enjoy sex and women saying it's socially acceptable for men to express that they enjoy sex. So, and then I had the same transition again. I think that this transition I really liked for moving between, text and interviews, as well as moving between topics such as body image to pop culture to sexuality. And then after these interviews talking about kind of this issue why is it so acceptable for men to do this and not women. Um, Again, having this cube transition to get all sides of the story, kind of representing that. After all of these, people had a lot to say about that one. After that, kind of right here, we kind of start into the decline of the video, kind of the wrap up, the end. Right here, we have Sonia talking about kind of owning your own sexuality and what you should really get out of this video, kind of, that you are your own person, don't listen to the media, all of that. So, and then I cubed again to get more sides of the story. This girl out on the diag is saying how she's comfortable with her body, and I just really wanted to put all the positive statements at the end, kind of leaving people on a high note. So this is own your own sexuality. This one's, I enjoy my body, I'm fine with it. This one's kind of saying, I think everybody around this age kind of has some sort of low self-esteem, but, there's a reason you're made the way you are, and, like, you should embrace that. And then one more cube to this boy who is saying, we are all really amazing no matter who you are, kind of thing. And then this last interview, I asked Megan to say one thing that she really wanted girls to get out of this video, and so she says right here, just a really quick love yourself. And then I thought that was a really good ending. Kind of, she's looking down and then she looks up right there. I thought that was really a great way to end this. So it's kind of a really bold statement, love yourself. And then it cuts to the credits, which I did include, the three people who, India, Sonia, and Megan, who agreed to take part in the organized interviews. I set up meeting times with them and asked them a set of questions about the video, body image, sexuality, pop culture, things like that. And then also put here that the statistics are from this repurposing paper, and then right here's the link to that repurposing paper in case anybody wanted to follow it, which is also in the description on YouTube. And then I put the music clips that I got and this video clip from Wiz Khalifa and The Weeknd's song. I decided to use the song by Lupe Fiasco called Bitch Bad in the credit roll, and used the lyrics because I really wanted this kind of to be the song that people leave with in their head. I think this song is really powerful. And at the end it says, right here it trails off, I'm killing these bitches, which kind of, I think, to this video speaks to, killing the pop culture image of what girls think that they should be, especially young girls who are just getting exposed to this kind of media image of what a woman should look like and act like. So that's what that is. I thought that video really nicely sums that up. It's also the video, the background music playing at the very beginning, so I thought it kind of, leaves people with what they started, what they started with. So that is what I did there. One thing that I did want people to kind of leave with is just knowing that back here at the beginning, the transitions are one thing that I really focused on, kind of keeping this really uniform, as well as keeping the structure really uniform for body image and sexuality, and using pop culture as that kind of transition between the two, because it really, I think, links them and is kind of the glue that holds the whole project together. So yeah, that was my remediating project. I think final things that I have learned from this are that videos are hard. They take a lot of time, but in the end it was really worth it, and I'm glad that I did this video and and didn't settle for something that I